Greetings, gastronomes. Today I'm going to be making sardine spaghetti, or as the Italians call it, pasta con le sarde, pasta with sardines. To make this one we need various things. We need sardines. It's basically 4 critical ingredients. The sardines, sultanas, don't leave out the sardine, the sultanas, it won't work, breadcrumbs and fennel. Buongiorno Finocchio, ma non guardami così, cattivo Finocchio. And that's it. There's other things as well. Anchovies give a bit of extra flavour boost because we don't use a lot of sardines in it, just half a tin per person, not a huge amount. A little bit of chilli just to give it a bit of zing. Onion, garlic, as always, and my secret ingredient, a bit of star anise. Now the fennel has a very slight aniseed aroma and very, very slight taste. It is almost nothing. So I think the go is to make it more aniseed than it is. And the way to do that is star anise. So I'll be putting one of those in. Anyway, we start proceedings by making some breadcrumbs. Now you can buy breadcrumbs, but if you are going to buy breadcrumbs, don't buy the really fine ones. The really fine breadcrumbs, they're not very nice. You know, they give a very smooth feel to your breaded, deep fried stuff. But is that good? It's not good in terms of flavour, and they're so fine they get stuck in your throat. And you breathe them in, not good. So the best way is make your own. I like them out of wholemeal bread. So I always make wholemeal bread, so I've always got them. And this is an old loaf that's been sitting in the fridge for quite a while. So I'm just going to break it up already. It's just a matter of making them a bit finer. Don't want them too fine. You saw how quick and easy that was. Why would you buy, if you've got access to bread, old bread, don't buy breadcrumbs, just make them yourself. Make them yourself, people. You do not need to buy them. Now, I'm going to want to turn on some elements, so I'll just do that. And I'll just tip the breadcrumbs into this big jar so that they're easy to, so it's there when I need them. I mean, they probably, that's basically easy. So the first thing you've got to do when you make this dish is to fry the breadcrumbs. Now this is a Sicilian recipe. Obviously Sicily being the very southernmost part of Italy is a bit different to the mainland. And I guess they don't have so much dairy down there as they do further north. So they use deep fried breadcrumbs, not deep fried, just shallow, just fried breadcrumbs as a substitute. Perhaps as a substitute for parmesan, or perhaps it's just a Sicilian thing. But anyway, it's very important in this dish. It gives it a particular character. If you don't put that in, you won't get quite the same character. It's a fascinating dish. I've been trying to perfect it for the past few weeks. So I just want a bit of olive oil. That's probably too much. Anyway. Oh, by the way, I'm just using a bit of Aldi's olive oil. Not very nice. Not very nice, but I've had worse. It's got pepperiness. I watched a show on YouTube where they said that some of the cheaper olive oils, extra virgin, it calls itself extra virgin, they use a special compound to inject pepperiness into low grade olive oil. So it's not an actual product of the olive oil itself. Now I don't know whether this particular olive oil is like that, but does have pepperiness. The calls itself olive oil. I mean, it's okay. I think you can be too anal about these things. You can be too fussy about your olive oil, I think. If you're making something where the olive oil is a real feature, like spaghetti aglio olio, where it's critical, and you're really tasting the olive oil because there's nothing much there. It's just olive oil and garlic and spaghetti and Parmesan cheese. You're really tasting the olive oil, and you want it to be good. And a lot of Italian mothers will just feed their kids pasta and olive oil for a snack. Just pasta and olive oil, nothing else. And that's good, if you've got good quality olive oil, or you can just have fresh bread and good olive oil, and that's all you need, Maybe a bit of salt. So in cases like that, you do want really good quality olive oil, and I can see why Italians would want to spend, they probably don't want to spend a lot of money, but they will spend a lot of money to buy really good olive oil. But there's a big difference between $16 a litre. I think there's $17 for the Aldi, and actually the Woolworths one was even cheaper. The Woolworths one is $16, I think, and the Aldi $17. So how about that, Aldi? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I mean, that's a lot better than paying $30. And what we do is we just let them fry with a little bit of olive oil in there for them to fry, and we just want to wait until they go crunchy, turn brown. When they've turned brown, they're done. Turn brown and be a little bit crunchy. You don't want to put too much olive oil in because you don't want them to be oily. I just want to be crunchy, dry and crunchy. That's what you want. Cup of tea. I've got these anchovy fillets, which are Italian, mare blu, which means blue sea. I like the bristling sardines. They're smaller than the other ones, and they've got a special sardine flavour. You always get them in oil, don't get them in water, get them in oil. And we're going to be frying them anyway in olive oil, so it'd be silly to have them just in water. Bristling sardines, they have a special unique sardine character, which, you know, a lot of people don't like. But if you do like sardines, you want the bristling ones because they've got that special character. I think they're great. And they're a really, really good source of protein, very concentrated protein. Very high quality protein. Let's get rid of these. Alright, starting to get brown now. Let's have a little taste. Yeah, quite crunchy. So I'll put those in there. I'll get cracking on the rest. Just giving them a little bit longer, just a little bit. Now what I need is 100 grams of spaghetti, maybe 110. I mean, it depends how hungry you are, but I usually find that that's 110. 100 grams is probably enough. 110 if you're a little bit hungrier. Alright. They are done. Tell you what, I'll just film them close up. I know you want to see. I'm sure you want to see, so we'll just give you a look. There you go. Like I say, very important in this dish. You need them. It's not the most important thing, but it's important. Get that authentic, the real character dish. It's a very strange kind of dish, this, because the things it's got in it, the ingredients, are kind of quite odd. They're quite odd. Okay, so we've got the, I'll just bring that water back to the boil. So once you've got your breadcrumbs done, you're ready for the spaghetti. Get the spaghetti on. A couple of salt spoons. I use, for one person, a couple of salt spoons in the pasta water. Pasta water is important in this dish. You're going to be finishing the sauce, the spaghetti off in the sauce. A lot of Italian recipes, you finish off the pasta in the sauce itself, and then you add pasta water on top of it. If you need more moisture, you add the pasta water on top of it, and the pasta soaks that up, and the dish soaks up the starch and the salt, and the dish becomes more salty, and the pasta finishes cooking, and it's got plenty of moisture, right? Very important. Always reserve some pasta water. Oh, that's that done. Now, you want about half an onion or less. Don't need a huge amount of onion. Half an onion or less. So we'll start with half an onion. Just peel off the outermost layer, which is very easy to do when you cut your onions in half. It just peels straight off. And we want a moderate amount of oil in this. Should probably be enough. Just slice it up. And then slice it again. Like so. get on the finocchio. Cut the bottom off, and I want about a quarter of a fennel. So cut out the heart. We don't want to be eating the heart, and give it a wash. You don't need a lot. Give it a wash, and I'll cut that up. Don't quite know what I think about fennel at this point in time. I'm not completely grabbed by it, but I don't hate it either. But in this dish, it's important. I think it's important in this dish. Now you can put the fronds in if you like. I'm going to try Vincenzo's idea of just throwing them in with the pasta. Is it a good idea? I don't know, we're going to find out. I think most of the aniseed flavour is in the fronds. So I think the aniseed is important in this dish, which is why I've got this. Now, next thing we do, I'll just make sure we've got plenty of oil there. Obviously we need the fennel to cook. It's got to cook. And because we need it to cook, we need to make sure that that's cut up small and given a good chance to cook. So it's not going to have very long. You don't want too much chilli, about this crushed hot chilli, about half a teaspoon. I mean, you could put more in if you want stronger chilli flavour. Go ahead. Right. Next thing we do is take the sardines and decant them, because I don't want to use all the sardines because I'm only cooking for one here. So what I'm going to do is just, well, there's quite a lot of oil in there. Get rid of some of the oil. And the rest, everything else goes into this little container. So I get an idea of how much I want. So I want about half. I mean, maybe more. I want half, and I want a star anise. Oh. Try to find one that's not broken too much. Oh, that'll do. Oh yeah, I'm trying to, I was going to stir the spaghetti. Make sure it doesn't stick together. Now I was using Sanremo spaghetti, this is the Woolworth spaghetti, which is quite thin. It's quite thin. Like, it's not angel hair, but it's quite thin, and it's much better. In my opinion, the thin spaghetti is much better than the thick spaghetti. In my opinion, never use the thicker spaghetti. It's never any good. It always tastes like pasta, just plain, ordinary, boring pasta. No, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan, and I think most normal Italian spaghetti's thickish compared to the Woolworth brand one. So I highly recommend the Woolworths brand, thin. Get your spaghetti thin. And everything tastes much better if you do that. Much better. Right, so I'm going to put in half the pack, at least half the pack. At least half the pack. At least half the tin. Minimum half the tin. Alright, so we're doing that, and while we're doing that, we'll chuck this in, and a couple of anchovies. Not too many, just two. Just two. And the garlic. This is a lovely big clove I found. Very big. Wow. Very good. In we go. And I'll put some pasta water in. You don't want to burn the garlic. And if you put water in, you'll make sure that the temperature does not exceed boiling water temperature. So I'll just give you a look. There you go. You can see the anchovies, which have not yet broken down. There's the sardines. You can see there's the star anise. I just cover the star anise with the sauce. I want to make sure that the flavour from the star anise goes into the rest of the sauce, and to do that, to make sure that happens, we need to make sure that clove of star anise is well covered. Keep it well covered. That's basically it, except for the sultanas. We'll just leave the sultanas till just before the end. The other good thing about the Woolworths spaghetti, the thin stuff, is that it cooks quickly, so you get your meal faster. Alright, it's all happening. Time to put in the sultanas. So about a handful of sultanas. Don't leave out the sultanas. They're critical. Like, the critical things are sultanas and the sardines are absolutely critical in this dish. And the fennel and the breadcrumbs are also critical, maybe not quite as critical as the first two. The sultanas are absolutely critical. You've got to have them. Alright, let's empty this out. And what I'm going to do, I'll empty it out over a glass. I'll get a glass and I'll empty the water out so that the water goes into the glass. And then I can use that at my leisure. There we go. You can hear it sizzling. It was getting a bit hot before. So we can take out the fennel fronds. No, there's not much there. That'll be right. One thing we do want to take out is the star anise, because you don't want to be eating that. You know, the woody. You don't want to be eating the woody star. The woody star. There it is. Boom, 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 boom. There it is. So we'll take that out. good to go. Just need to check that it's properly cooked. Yum. Yum. It's good. Alright. That out of the way. Let's get itself a plate. Now at the very end, you sprinkle some breadcrumbs over it. One handful. Incorporate them in. Then we put it on the plate. Now these people who wind their pasta around a fucking ladle, God's sake, what fucking moron invented that? That is not the way to serve pasta. And I bet you there was no mama would have done that. In Italy in the old days, it wouldn't have happened. People would have, see what the hell are you doing, mum? Ridiculous. Just plonk it on the plate and we'll eat it. And that's what would have happened, I reckon. So there it is. Let's have a look. Have a good look. Sardine pasta. And actually what you're supposed to do then is you put a little bit more of your crispy breadcrumbs on the top. Don't want to go too mad, just a couple of sprinkles is all you need. I'll just film it again with the breadcrumb sprinkles. And this will probably be the money shot, right? Okay. What does it taste like? Sardine pasta. Sardine spaghetti. Bet you a lot of you are thinking, ugh. Unless you're Italian, then you wouldn't be thinking that. I'll tell you, the fried breadcrumbs, they give this dish a special character that you just don't get otherwise. You've got to do it. Without the breadcrumbs, this wouldn't be the same. It's this dish is this weird combination of disparate flavours and textures. Like, the sardines and the sultanas, you couldn't get two more disparate. We couldn't get two more disparate flavours, but it works. And you've got to have the sultanas, do not leave the sultanas out. They're critical. You've got your onion and your fennel, nicely cooked, because I chopped it up pretty fine. They're well cooked. I'm not still a fan of fennel. I mean, to me it doesn't have much flavour. Maybe other people think differently. To me, it's a very neutral thing. Goddamn. Nikon D750 cut off the bloody video 5 minutes before the end. Honestly, if I could wring the neck of that Japanese engineer who decided, oh, we're going to cut off all videos after 30 minutes, if I could wring his neck, I would. What a fucking idiot. I will say that the star anise is a good idea, and in fact I think you could do more, so I think you'd probably put in two stars of star anise. I think that would work. It's a fantastic dish. It's a fantastic combination of flavours that you don't expect and you would not probably find anywhere else. And it's also a weird combination of textures because the crunchiness of the deep fried breadcrumbs is very interesting in contrast to the softness of the spaghetti and the softness of the sardines and the onion and the fennel. You know, they're all soft, and you've got this crunchy bit as well. It's interesting, it's different. The whole dish is very different. I highly recommend it. It's probably not what a lot of you were expecting, unless you're Italian, in which case you probably already know about it. It's a famous dish in Italy, not so famous elsewhere in the world. Not like spaghetti bolognese, you know, or tortellini alla panna, which are everywhere, right? But this is the Sicilian dish, well known in Italy, not so much elsewhere. And it's quite addictive. Like, this is the 5th time I've made it, and I've got to say, I like it. And it's probably growing on me. I think it is growing on me, and I'll probably experiment a bit with it. I did already experiment a little bit. I tried putting tomatoes in. I think that's a mistake. If you're going to put tomatoes into a dish, you know, it becomes a tomatoey dish, and this is not that. So don't be tempted to put in tomatoes or tomato paste. The dish then becomes tomatoey, and tomato is a very strong flavour, and there's a lot of tomatoey dishes in Italy, right? Well, especially a lot of tomatoey pasta dishes. Right? There's loads of them, so you don't need to add to that collection. This is remarkable because it doesn't have the tomatoes, so don't put them in. And then there's the pine nuts. Don't put the pine nuts in. The pine nuts don't add anything important. They just confuse the flavour profile and they confuse the texture profile. And they cost money. So I think overall they take away from the dish. You want to, when you're eating this dish, you want to be able to focus on the texture of the breadcrumbs and the interesting flavour, the slightly anise flavour of the fennel and the star anise, and the mild fishy flavour of the sardines with the, you know, the stronger base of it, just a few anchovies. You don't want to put too many anchovies in because you don't want the whole dish to taste of anchovies, but they do strengthen the fishy flavour a bit, which improves the dish. So you do need the anchovies, I think. But the sultanas, you know, they're just fantastic. They contrast really well with the other flavours, and a little bit chilli just to give it a bit of zing. It's just a wonderful, wonderful confection of disparate flavours. Surprising and wonderful. So I highly recommend you go and make it yourself. It's cheap and easy. I mean, sardines are cheap. You can even make it without the fennel, probably, although this dish only tasted right once I put the fennel in, so maybe you do need the fennel, but you could try without the fennel if you can't get hold of it. You could. I don't know, maybe you could put a bit more sardines. Depends how many sardines you want to eat in a single meal, you know. Do you want to eat a whole pack of sardines? If you want to eat the whole pack of sardines, put the whole pack in per person. Put a whole tin in per person if you want. Anyway, that's it. Highly recommended. Make it yourself.